Her voice was banned from every kingdom. The night air pulsed with the stench of decay and mariola blossoms. Under a sky smeared with crimson clouds, a woman stood barefoot among elephant skulls twice her height. Her skin was the hue of dark molasses, cracked like ancient bark. Her hair was white as moon ash, coiled in serpents around her head. And her mouth, stitched shut by iron threads, began to part. She hummed, low at first, a tremor in the wind, then louder, until the silence of the valley broke like a fever. Across the cracked earth of the Elelo waste, grave mounds split. The dust of long-dead beasts shook. The bones of warriors buried beside their mounds rose with hollow groans, their eyes glowing with wet blue fire. The kingdoms had exiled her, branded her Death Mother, Curse-bringer, Witch of the Elephants. But she bore no hatred, only grief and songs. She knelt beside the ribcage of a fallen matriarch, cradling a rotted tusk like a child. Her voice deepened. The wind howled. In the distance, the drums of hunters echoed, closer with every beat. A final note escaped her lips, high and trembling like a cracked bell. The elephant bones began to move. Death singer. In the haunted valley of Elelo, the ground was stitched with the skeletons of elephants, whole hearts fallen in the great slaughter 2 generations past. The kingdoms had blamed the beast for trampling villages during their sacred migrations. They had sent fire, spear, and poison. None returned untouched. Among these graves wandered Nambá, the last bloodkeeper of the elephant line. Once a high priestess of Ngulu kingdom, she had sung to the elephant spirits to bless harvest, births, and war. But when the animals began dying in madness and rage, her voice, once sacred, was called heresy. The kings cut out her tongue, but her voice did not die. It hid. It festered. And when she found the forbidden rite of Awoke, the song of return, she sang not to the living, but to those with ears beneath the soil. Tonight, she heard the drums again. A war band from Nambá kingdom was drawing near, seeking the rumored bone witch who raised carcasses to shield outlaws and thieves. They brought flame-slick javelins and hyena skins to ward her off. But Nambá wasn't hiding. She stood in the center of a vast clearing surrounded by broken Tusks planted like gravestones. Beneath each, a spirit stirred. She placed a hand over her chest, pressed 2 fingers into her sternum. Blood dripped. Then she sang. The sound was wet, guttural, like marrow leaking from a cracked femur, but it carried. The grave soil rippled. A wind rose, smelling of ash and salt. The bones quivered as the elephant dead stirred, trumpeting in the voice of storms. From the forest edge, the hunters froze. The largest elephant skull lifted itself from the dust, tusks gleaming despite centuries of rot. Its spine reformed, ribs clicking into place like war drums. And on its back rose warriors, those who had died defending their hearts, their spears rusted but as a fire. The war band charged, screaming holy names and ancestor curses. But they were met by a thundering stampede of bone and shadow. Undead elephants smashed through trees like wind through red huts. Warriors on skeletal mounts held spectral spears, their chants rising with Namba's voice. One soldier leapt to strike her down, only to be snatched midair by a jolly's trunk and crushed. At the center of it all, Nambá floated, her body rising above the battlefield, robes billowing like sails. Her mouth glowed with ancestral fire, threads of iron unraveling into molten light. She sang louder. The song curved through the air, warped reality, and shattered memory. The living men forgot their own names. Some dropped to their knees and wept. Others ran blindly into the night, chased by ghost hearts. But the last hunter, young, trembling, yet proud, lifted his blade toward her. "I came to end your evil," he rasped. Nambá stared at him. Her eyes were twin eclipses. "You killed what we sang for," she whispered. "Now you will hear their mourning." She sang one final note. His ears bled. His legs collapsed. And the grave took him whole. Dawn came. The battlefield was empty, save for crushed grass and scattered ivory shards. Nambá sat in the quiet, her voice now a thin whisper spoken only to the bones. The elephant spirits returned to slumber. The warriors faded with the morning mist. But her song echoed still. In every kingdom that once banished her, children began waking from dreams of stampeding hearts. Queens wept during council meetings, overcome by ancient sorrow. Tusks once kept as trophies cracked in royal halls. And in the heart of the Elelo wastes, the elephant which wept into the soil. Each tear a hymn to the once lost, each sob a promise that the dead would never forget the silence of betrayal. Moral: when the living silence the voice of grief, the dead will make it sing.